Welcome world, it's your favorite creator and host, DawnTheDoll, and we are back in season 2 with episode 10 here at Concrete and Blossom Podcast. Here, minority millennials aspire to create change through conversation. In this episode, I join my co-host, Mr. D713 from Everything Culture Podcast, that's everything with an A, as we sit down with LA-based music recording artist MacFame, that's MacFame, as we discuss the art versus the artist in the music industry. DawnTheDoll delivers.
Oh, what's been up, man? How you been?
Man, staying busy, getting music done, trying to seek out the next big thing, trying to, stay in the mix and out the way pretty much.
Of course.
Yeah, man, that's really it. It's a lot of opportunities that keep presenting themselves, and I'm just trying to wade through the bullshit of this industry and figure out
what's hot and what's not.
What to take, who to do it, who not to do it. Pretty much, not even what's hot and what's not, because everybody in Hollywood thinks they're hot. It's which investment is going to hit me the highest return. It's like life. It's just a little more cutthroat. There are no friends. It's a very much a what can you do for me type of industry. So
wow. Wow. So let me tell you, it's really crazy you said that. So on an episode that we just finished up that'll be released on Friday, I think it's Just a Connection is the episode, but I have an author on there, the author of Coco Brown. She's a friend of mine. Just being in the writing industry and the creative industry, she opened up with that quote, just saying, in this industry, there are no friends. It's just connections. Like, how can you benefit from the next person?
Bingo. You've got network connections. You've got associates. You've got business partners. There are no friends. There are no friends. Yeah. So what's up with the podcast? This is something you've been working on. This is new. This is what's up?
So I've been working on it, but it hasn't been focused. And when I say focused, I didn't know it would turn into a podcast. So I'm always working on my delivery, getting out information, and that mixed with the personality of just my own, just who I am and shit I go through and all that, it doesn't always come off very well. So Concrete and Blossom was just a way of me being able to have a safe space to freely speak about more difficult topics, especially those topics where I know, this is my opinion, what I'm passionate about. And although it may be able to give somebody else a different perspective, like, I don't want to have to walk on eggshells when I say this shit. And I feel like a part of the issue in the Black community is when we think about communication with each other, you have to walk on eggshells. Like, it's very difficult for people to just be transparent and say what you mean, how you mean it, and it be received like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, even if we don't agree on it, or even if you're coming at me some type of way. If that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. And I be just sick of walking on eggshells, especially like in today's world. We already have to do that so much. I feel like so many people have so much good knowledge, but it falls on deaf ears just because of the way they're saying it. So for me, Concrete and Blossom is a way to literally blossom through and power through like those difficult conversations, like a flower going through concrete. We got a gentle message. Our message is a blossoming flower. It's very gentle. The message is very delicate. The message is all these things, but we got to bust through this damn concrete so where, it's heard and received the way that it needs to be. So
I've struggled with that in my entire life. The message that I'm delivering may be factual as hell. The message that I'm delivering, it may be irrefutable, and it could be as simple as 2 + 2. There's no disputing what 2 + 2 = 4. But I may say 2 + 2 = 4, you dickhead. Like, it's aggressive, but it's factual. Now, people always say the message is lost in translation because of the delivery isn't.
Now what you say is how you say it.
Because the delivery isn't delivered, nice, respectful, or with sugar coated with rainbows and gumdrops and unicorns. I disagree. That the message is still the message, no matter the delivery. You know, the message is still the same, whether you get it via email, whether you get it U.S. Postal Service, whether you get it carrier pigeon, whether it's smoke signals from, you know, the Cherokee Indians on the other side of the hill. The message is still the same no matter the vehicle. And I've dealt with that my entire life of being just called an asshole because my delivery isn't sugar-coated, or it's not politically correct, or, you know, it's brash and somebody's feelings are hurt.
Do I have the right to say 2 + 2 = 6? As long as I have the right to say it.
You can, because if it's refutable, I'm on your ass.
You see, I'm the same way. I'm the exact same damn way.
Yeah,
I'm so tired of people just allowing dumb shit to fly.
Because they want to protect people's feelings. I'm not allowing dumb shit to fly just because it's politically correct.
No, and I never have. And it's like, I'm not going to start today.
My man, we in the same boat.
All right, so without further ado, okay, MacFame, LA-based music artist, writer, ghostwriter, all-around dope-ass person. Guess where I know him from, Mr. D713? University of Houston.
Your boy, man. I was stomping on them grounds early.
So this is
Read it loud and clear.
Really old friend of mine. He and I mean, we linked up on some goofy shit. Like, we just was always cool peeps, like at U of H randomly, and just literally been hella cool ever since then. So I've known you minimum 10 years, bro. Like, minimum.
Oh, yeah. I would say 2006. So we probably touching 14 years now.
Yep.
I mean, from back to the freestyle battles underneath the towers at U of H. Yeah, that was it, man.
That's why I learned how to play spades. Right there.
Man.
So Mr. D713 is one half of the Everything Culture podcast. That's everything with the A. Make sure you follow him on all platforms. And he's super dope. He also went to U of H. I didn't know him at U of H, but we were obviously there at the same time. We had a mutual friend that invited him onto one of my episode recordings. And ever since then, he's like my podcast. I always say this. He's like my podcast mentor because his podcast is dope as fuck. First of all, it's dope as fuck. I pull so much inspiration from it. It's off the chain. And he and I get together on some shit and just be talking. Really.
That's what's up. Those are the best relationships, man.
So I'm so glad both of y'all could come on tonight. I had originally just was looking for music artists to help me out with this.
Did you throw a glitter filter on or some shit?
No, I just sparkle and shine.
Shut up. Like,
y'all gonna have to forgive
I saw
me.
that too. That stuff back there.
But it was on your shirt too, though.
Cause I'm telling you, I'm a sparkle of fucking glitter. That's why.
Everything's
Oh Lord.
But
y'all gonna have to forgive me. I'm in my studio at home.
No, you good,
and all I have are studio headphones. So y'all gonna have to get these big ass.
Dude, I will be wearing mine if I can find my cord to go to them. So you good?
Trust me, we all have them. I have these. The only reason I don't wear them often is because I have 4 different platforms that I'm recording on. Like, I'm recording in my Logics, I'm recording on Anchor, I'm recording on Zoom, and so I need the audio to be coming out of the computer for 2 of the other things where if I put these on, you would just hear me in my recording. That's part of the way I'm able to go back and do those edits to where when people are saying something they cut out, if people are over talking, different things that happen, like cutouts and stuff, I have multiple ways. So.
Okay, I see it. Tell me, teach me. But the focus is
Drake, let's plan a trip. Let's go to LA and visit Fame.
Let's do it.
Make that happen.
As
soon as all this COVID shit bad, let this whole pass over.
Y'all know I'm nanny a 2-year-old, so I've been real low key. I've taken it very serious just because I nanny a 2-year-old and her mom is pregnant. So yeah, she's due in about 2-3 weeks. So I've been playing it super safe all summer. All that kind of stuff.
Fucking in that house. Excuse me. Sorry, go ahead.
A lot of it going on.
So you got a 2-year-old and back door.
Oh, both of you guys are married, but neither one of you have kids yet. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Everybody be like, don't have kids yet. I'm like, we have kids. They're like, man, fuck these kids. Don't have kids yet.
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not married.
Everybody around me be like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, man.
Take it from a woman. Don't do that shit. You can't take
That's
it back.
Hilarious.
Don't do it.
You don't have kids yet either, though.
I don't want kids. I don't have a reason.
Nah, I think that'll be fun. Well, I ain't gonna say fun. All this knowledge have to go somewhere, you know?
And it's a bunch of people who don't have motherfuckers giving it to them, Drake. Don't you see? We got people out here that need us. Don't be selfish.
I worked in the foster care. Trust me, I know.
Right.
Once again, I dropped the game off of, you know, I'd rather drop it. Hopefully my son, I think it's somewhat genetic with some of this shit too. I hopefully like, you know, long as I'm there and you got some of my genes, you can pick up on some shit. But if you have a different level of genetics, I'm still gonna do it no matter what. I still think it's prone to people may follow some of the actions that their parents may have done. Like, I'm telling you, I work with kids that never seen their parents a day in their damn life, but act just like their mama or daddy. And I'm like, this is wow.
Genetics.
Wow.
Genetics are real.
Well, anyway, that was all just, you know, pre-flow, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So tonight we will be talking about the art versus the artist, expectations of the fame and their fans. When we talk about the art versus the artist, obviously right now in the Black community, we think of one name, but I think it goes much deeper in just understanding people are separate from their characters that they show the world and that they present to the world. Are they?
I agree.
Yeah, I highly agree. We'll talk about it. Let's get in.
Very much agree.
When you think of some of the things that these artists do, they literally are hurting other people. And it's women and men, but they literally, like, they're being destructive to those around them. Why do I have that? Why do I get that look, Drake? What's that look for?
How do you go, you know, separate an artist from a teacher? The teacher is more influential than an artist.
Not in today's world. No, they're not.
I disagree with you. I absolutely disagree with you.
We may be supposed to be, but I don't feel like the proof is in the pudding to show to reflect that statement. As an educator, I don't feel like I'm more influential than Cardi B. I just don't.
You have more touch. You do. You teaching them the ABCs 1, 2, 3s, and they just teaching them. Teaching. Yeah, thank you. Foundation. They may see some little things and the little songs they go forget about in the next 10 years. I still remember my kindergarten teacher. I still remember my first grade, second, and third teacher.
We didn't have that type of shit.
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. Like, I still remember my kindergarten teacher, Miss McCarthy, man.
You feel
like me? I still remember these teachers and these educators who made an everlasting imprint on me. Like, there's been times where I've jumped on Facebook just to see.
Thank you.
If I can find them, like, I've got old football coaches on my social media, like old teachers. So those instructors, those teachers, those advisors, those people who left those everlasting impressions on me have never been forgotten. So man, I gotta rock with Mr. D, man.
And let me tell you something. I'm talking straight to Dawn right here. Dawn is about being an educator yourself. You know, understand you make more of a difference than you may believe. You're not the first teacher that have said that. We had this conversation on our podcast on Everything Culture, and it was about, you know, bringing teachers on. College dropout. I think it was college dropout, and we might have talked about that. And even now, I'm just quickly, I had to bring my emotions back. My kindergarten teacher, I saw her last year. We were leaving a funeral, and I didn't recognize her, but she came up, you know who I am? I'm like, no. And she was like, I'm Miss Taylor. Man, tears. Oh, man. She
blew you away.
This woman made such, like, almost 30 years ago. Little things she taught me, and like little influences, how to be kind to people, listen to people, don't be so. It's just simple shit, and stand up for who you are. No Will Smith, no Too Short, no Too Loud Crew that did anything for me. That was around me and I listened to them, but still that teacher had a larger impact in my overall life. Now it may seem like that short-term gratification that these kids may say, "Oh, girl, fuck you," or something like that, get out of my face. Yeah, I know. Like I was looking on Facebook today. Some of my classmates that went to the high school, they went to a different middle school than I did, but they were talking about this one particular teacher, and they tagged his teacher in the post. They're like, and they said, "Ma'am, we probably called you 1,000 bitches, and you were mean as hell, but we really do appreciate how hard you were on us." Yeah, man. to the white woman too. They straight to it. Then the whole post was like how much different black people, white people, Hispanic, how much they appreciate her. We may not give you your roses when we're in the 8th and 7th, 8th grade, but we love you. We really do appreciate you. And look at us now. We're attorneys. We're I don't think any doctors on there, but speech pathologists. We're teachers now. We understand. Thank you for being there. It may not come right now, but don't ever sleep and think the work that you're doing is not appreciated as an educator. And I say that time and time again. Now, these kids, just like you probably yourself, how were you as a student? But she always say you probably you would say you wasn't bad at all.
Oh my gosh. I used to cry when I could not finish my homework. If it was bedtime and my homework wasn't done, I used to throw the biggest tantrum, like, I'm staying up to, like, I would be
we
like,
definitely weren't the same.
Oh my God. I used to
do my shit in class.
Okay, so first and foremost, my grandmother was an educator. I come from a lot of educators. My grandfather was a coach down at Prairie View A&M, so I come from a very long line of educators. So, like, I understand the reach, and when you were just setting that example, I think of my mom is a dentist, and she had a dental assistant who was new there, but this dental assistant kept asking her, like, how do I know you? Like, I know you from somewhere. I know you from somewhere. And this went on for maybe a year or so. And they kept trying to figure it out. And she asked her one day if she had a maiden name, because, my mom isn't married anymore, but she kept her married name. She asked about her maiden name, and she said McClellan. And the girl started crying, and because she said, your mom had to have been your mom was my teacher in elementary school. And this is, years after my grandmother passed in 2004. So this is years after my grandmother had even passed. And so my mom reminded this person so much of my grandmother, and my grandmother had such an impact on this person. Like, she felt like she knew my mom, like, very intimately, based on the relationship she had built with my grandmother, or the impact that my grandmother must have made on this young lady. So I definitely hope that is my goal as an educator, because this standardized testing don't mean shit. I tell my students all the time, I can teach you how to pass this test, but what I'm trying to teach you is how to pass certain lessons in life without you having to struggle through them multiple times. So, so maybe that was a bad example.
No, it's fine. We hear that. We hear the growth.
When it comes to music and how influential it is, it's hard to separate the two as adults when you think about certain levels of behaviors.
I think over time, more responsibility has been placed onto artists to be more than artists. And I think that's just because of the visibility of artists in their personal lives now. You got to think, even back in, we can even say early, 2000s, even, 2004 or 5, even before, especially before that, but even like 2005, like every celebrity didn't have a social media account. Like, there were still people just being artists. Like, it's the very reason that artists have quote unquote stage names and nicknames, aliases, alter egos, there's a reason. Entertainers are paid to entertain. Very similar to comedians. Comedians make a joke out of everything. Does that mean they make a joke out of everything in their personal life? No, they handle the business. They're not joking about their contracts and their specials and their opportunities to advance and move forward. They're serious about that. But when they're in their, when it's time to clock in, you're a comedian. It's time to be funny. When you're an artist, it's time to be an artist and entertain. When you're in that, be very clear. There's a Difference between an entertainer and an artist. Not all artists are entertainers, and not all entertainers are artists.
Okay, well,
artists.
What's the difference? Explain to our listeners what the difference is.
Artists, and I think I'll start with the easy one. Entertainer. As long as I can entertain you, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if it's politically correct. It doesn't matter if it's something that you agree with. It doesn't matter if it's something legal. As long as I am entertaining you, I have now fulfilled my duty as an entertainer.
I brought on the followers. I brought on the views.
I brought you entertainment. You hired me to entertain and be entertaining. You approached me because I'm entertaining. Now you want to hire me to entertain. Entertainer. Okay. Now look at an artist. An artist is about the craft, about the art. They take pride in the art. They take pride in the craft. So their approach to the art is going to be more by the book, about the art. They don't want to compromise the quality of the art for entertainment. Mm-hmm. You get artists who are not going to sign with a major label because now they have to sacrifice their creative, holding.
One of the best artists of all time, she maybe just because our families are familiar with each other and know each other, but Erykah Badu is the epitome of an artist.
Bingo. She's very much about the craft. She's a student of music. She understands what it takes to take her art and make it something make it entertaining.
Right.
But she's also one of the artists who has never sacrificed her art for the sake of entertainment. So for me, that's the difference. You have to look at everybody's not an artist. I mean, every entertainer's not an artist. Every artist is not an entertainer. You have to place everybody correctly. And I think the mislabeling of these public figures, at the end of the day, that's all they are. Public figures. The mislabeling of them has people set up for disappointment. Mm-hmm. You looking at Nicki Minaj for political leadership, you set yourself up for entertainment. Mm-hmm. You looking at Kanye West for political leadership.
Don't get started. Look at him. He ready.
Oh, he leaned into the mic.
You rang. I'm letting you go.
Yeah. So I'm gonna leave it at that. You have to know how to place these public figures. Mm-hmm. Some of them are true artists. The majority of them are entertainers.
So I'm hearing you out, and I would most part would agree with you. And once again, not in most part, I do agree with you. And I'm gonna play devil's advocate because in a perfect world, we would absolutely agree. And how things should be. You wouldn't listen to these people, but they are people at the end of the day. And can you really separate the artist or entertainer from the individual? Because we have artists such as, I'm going to throw John Legend out there. John Legend, he's very political, very proactive in some things that I see positive. But we have Kanye West, though. He's a person at the end of the day. And he says some dumb shit, but he uses his platform as an artist, and it kind of intertwines with one another. Mm-hmm. So it gets, and we can say, oh, he's just an artist, but he's still a person at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump, he was really a reality TV star when I looked at him, but look what the hell he had now. Ronald Reagan, right. He was an actor. He became president. Arnold Schwarzenegger, bodybuilder, actor. He became governor. Yeah. So Jason Ventura, he was a wrestler, he was a governor as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Governor, yeah.
So then I'm looking at what we have as artists. Where do we go to put these people up on pedestals, and what have they actually done? We have to look at these things, and we can. The easier, simple thing is, what are the parents teaching the children? What's going on in the household? And it goes back to the conversation we're talking about with the teachers. teachers step in a bigger role than they have to at times, because some of these kids don't know how to tie their shoes or wipe their ass. And unfortunately, teachers have to do that. Okay. So same thing, if the parents are not there and these kids are, they have a girl flirting with them, or their friends tell them something, they may do that. If you grew up and your parents never taught you about the birds and the bees and how to respect a woman, and you hear Tila or E40 or Be Legit or something like that initially, and how to pimp a bitch college and shit, guess what? Yeah. I've been influenced, that easily. Whether the artist knows it or not, you do have influence behind it. And I understand you just out here trying to put up your art, and it goes to the point that we would like, it's a culture behind it. If you listen to, we all talk, I bring it to culture, but me and my co-host always go back and forth. And it's kind of like, is it the artist or the, I forget the name, what we're talking about now, but I'm like, do art imitate life, or do life imitate art?
Ooh, age-old question. I'm going to say art imitates life, because art is the only thing that can be harnessed. You cannot harness life. You cannot dictate life.
Already.
Life happens naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Art can be created naturally, but if we're speaking not metaphorically and actually physically, art imitates life, because that is what's constructed.
And that's how I weigh it off of. Even though some of these rappers or artists, they may not experience everything that they talk about, but they may have seen somebody else experience this, some of these artists like Adele and Taylor Swift became big. I heard a lot of that was lies, but talking about getting your heart broken, talk about your feelings, your emotions, and these things come about. And guess what? They become artists because other people really feel where they're coming from. It's these group of girls that on TikTok by the name of Avenue Beat. Okay. And they got this song called Fuck 2020. Okay. Mm-hmm. A little catchy song. Okay. But the thing about it, they are talking about, they 2019 ended, New Year's, threw up a beer, 2020 about to be my year. Nigga, my cat died. Nigga, Trump is talking all this bullshit. They start talking about all this stuff, and they're like, man, fuck 2020. That is art imitating life. She's speaking about what she actually experiencing. Same thing when people would look at, upon the time about rap music is being violent. People out here committing crimes because of rap music. And I'm like, people were killing each other in the hood, and people was killing each other in the trailer park. People was killing each other on the battlefield before hip hop. So let's stop putting all that shit out there like that's what it is. Now, do I know rap still could be influential? Yes. I grew up in 2003, 2004 era, during the crunk era, where, you know, if you would be buck. If you did not give a damn, I did not give a fuck. And, and I could go on and on, but I've DJed parties where I would play 3 songs in a consecutive order and a fight would break out. And I knew that's how to end the party. Because, when a fight broke out, we got to end this thing, y'all. And I sat back and looked. A lot of people, human beings, you could say are quote unquote sheep. I hate saying it like that, but that's how, why we need to go to church. That's why we need, sometimes people need religion, people need direction, because a lot of people are looking for that one way or another. And instead of following on faith or, spirituality. What the fuck am I thinking wrong?
Spirituality. We got you.
Spirituality. Thank you. Why can't they roll on that, but they roll on Cardi B, Beyonce? They roll with a single person to make a catchy song, and whatever that person say, I love. And that's how I feel with Kanye. They like Kanye music so damn much, they believe any fucking else thing that come out of his mouth.
So anyway, we're gonna hear about Fuck 2020. Let's go ahead and hear about this and listen at what so easily can be picked up and taken just based on the platform.
But if you watch the initial video, the TikTok video they had, it's like behind the scenes, they just putting up like Trump saying stupid shit, the murders of Yeah, Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, the Wasp, all this crazy shit that's been going on in 2020 alone. And that's like, it really speaks volumes. Like, but they're talking about what they're experiencing. These girls, like, I think 21, they real young. Right. And they not talking, they ain't making none shit up. But do we have like rappers like, what's this bitch motherfucking name? The one with the Puerto Rican cat with all the other different color hair in New York.
Oh, 6ix9ine.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
He's and when I first saw, I don't know if y'all remember one of his first videos. I can't support cancel culture because I don't support motherfuckers enough to cancel them. You know, I don't put people up on pedestals. When I saw his first video, motherfuckers was shooting heroin in their arms. I'm like, what the fuck is doing now? In a music video? This is what they were doing. And
I've never seen one of his music videos.
Man, he yell a nigga left and right. I'm like, he has no pigmentation, his motherfucking skin. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, okay, once again, he ain't gonna be no big deal. This motherfucker be washed after a month or two. This motherfucker get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, how you can tell this motherfucker faking?
For him, people separated people. I feel like people kind of didn't separate his art from his artist, because with that whole like snitching thing, that's like the only really thing I ever knew about him is when that whole snitching thing came about.
He shot up what was that rapper name? He shot up motherfucking shit. I don't know how he's free. He literally went from being a fake ass gang. He started a fake ass gang. He got involved with some real niggas because money, you know, that's an easy way to get motherfuckers. Ludacris said that years ago. I ain't got to be no fucking gangbagger or nothing. Only thing I do is pay your ass. I'll pay any motherfucker knock you out. But if you have money, you have the control of whatever you need, and that's the truth. But it went to this motherfucker doing all this shit, getting all these people involved. Literally, he would make calls on shots how to get people killed, put people out to shoot at motherfuckers, and he literally snitched on every single person. He pulled a Nino Brown in real life, but nobody shot him in the courthouse. That's what he did. And that's the other thing. We could talk about movies. I'd be wondering, do people have y'all seen? I'm not even going to assume. That's a form
of art, though.
That's what I'm saying.
People play like these bad characters. People play the good characters. All this other stuff, but people gotta live their real life. Like,
have y'all seen Scarface?
Of course.
I gotta ask. I do not like to assume. And y'all seen Boys in the Hood?
Yes.
And y'all seen New Jack City?
Yes.
Okay, let's just go to Scarface in New Jack City. The anti-protagonist of the films. You saw where they came from, right? Mm-hmm. Well, we're talking about Nino Brown and we're talking Tony Montana. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, Tony Montana. You saw him come from a low. How did Tony Montana make it to the top?
I mean, pretty much like getting out the people who was already there. Like,
okay. And when he got there, what happened? When he made it to the top, what did he start to do?
Yeah, you start to get a little greedy, start to get a little too high on your horse, you get a little
jealous,
arrogant.
He start beating his sister, beating his best friend. He just mad, he paranoid and shit. Really, he was a hoe ass nigga throughout the whole film. If we want to keep it a buck, if we really want to pay attention to it, he was a hoe ass nigga the whole film. Okay, some people might comment at me about this, but I watched Scarface as a child and I watched it as an adult. And I'm like, this shit ain't even that good of a fucking movie. This is like really fucked up.
Scarface is a great movie still.
Well, you know, I'm going to bring some more artists, people, some critics on. I'm a big movie critic. I'm like, The City of God is a good ass movie.
That's my favorite movie, so that you can't compare. Like that's just from Scarface. That makes
Scarface was released.
Yeah,
that's a good ass movie. That tells you someone how you could be good, and it turns you fucking bad and evil for a reason, for survival, not about money and power and fame and respect.
But if you think about it, even the people in City of God that were good people, they never really turned into bad people. The whole movie. Even like up until the end.
You had to do bad things. Nobody who
had a good heart in City of God like was a fuckboy in none of the movies.
But they had to do bad things to get there. He had to pull in children and shit to fight other children. That's fucked up shit. He had to do, he started basing off.
That was Zay really doing that. That was Lil Zay doing that in the movie, and he was.
Lil Zay did it, so the protagonist had to do the same thing. He had to fight evil with evil.
Yeah,
it's fucked up. You don't want to say it, but it is. I hate saying what it is. That's what he had to do to make it by. But we go to New Jack City. Everybody talk about the Carter. People don't even know what Lil Wayne talking about with the Carter. I'm like, y'all know where y'all get that from, right? No. Okay. When he talking about we got all these things. Nino Brown was a bitch ass nigga. So like he used children to guard him. He was abusive.
Nino Brown was a bitch ass nigga that
and he snitched on everybody at the end of the damn movie. All his whole crew threw him under the bus. So why the fuck we glorify that bitch shit at the end of the damn day?
I ain't seen nobody really glorify none of that.
Yeah, I know motherfuckers that Nino Brown was the shit, want to be part of Carter. We got because other rappers support that shit, and I'm like, where we
But
at?
again, that's because people don't know how to separate the art from the artist. They don't realize like the art of entertaining me is just that.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes artists portray so heavily. They don't make a clear distinction. Like, I think it was Too Short. I'm pretty sure it was Too Short. Who would always, like, that nigga will always say, like, that's a job. Like, that's my craft. That's my art. Like, he made it very known. Like, that's not who I am as a businessman. Like, that's not who I am. Like, I got real businesses. Like, I'm a smart ass dude. Like, I'm a smart ass nigga over here. And I don't think, like, artists nowadays make that distinction clear enough. Because we don't have smart people like around our age, like us three are 80s babies. We knew that whenever those people got on stage and stuff, like you can't compare when we were growing up and the things, how we thought, nah, bro, the mind state is completely different just based on the things that we have access to, even as adults. Because adults are not parenting the same because they're too worried about living their own life because they have different access to different things.
Correct.
So you can't so yes, I can say people in our generation are. I would have to say we're a little bit smarter than what
And the reason why you compare when we're talking about the social media aspect compared to music and art has always been here.
Right.
Social media give them more access to art.
To the artists.
Yeah. So if you want to make that argument, I would agree that, yeah, it's an access. They have more access to it. But people was influenced by fucking Little Richard. People was influenced by James Brown. People was influenced by, what's the comedian name? Dolomite. Who the guy who made Dolomite?
Oh, yeah. I love that. Eddie Murphy played the second.
Yeah, but people really thought he was pimp. Like you say, it was a show. There's so we can't say we're smarter. But if you had, it's on a much widespread access to it. It's to the point because if we had the same shit growing up, Rudy Ray Moore, thank you. If we had the same shit growing up, trust me, it would have affected us too.
Yeah.
Because people had access to certain things and they believed in it. Even way, because I always bring back with celebrities. Okay, we talk about celebrities, and when I say celebrities, it goes to artists. We've all seen Ray. Mm-hmm. Ray, that motherfucker, that was big time, but that motherfucker was on drugs like a motherfucker. He said a lot of crazy. A lot of people hated Ray Charles because he used his music and majority of them took from gospel music. That was a lot of people saying that was a huge problem. Same thing people are talking about the internet is what people are talking about the television. Before the television, they're talking about the radio. Before the radio, they're talking about the newspaper. When you have access to see these type of things that's against your culture or against your morals, that's when people get upset because you know how quickly it can spread. Now, it's just how strong is your influence in the household is what really matters. But the influence, talking about the artist versus the art, I mean, the influence of the artists hold some type of responsibility, just like with you, Dawn, holding, like going back to teacher. If a kid see you smoking out somewhere, guess what they go feel? Man, my teacher doing this shit. Is it that bad? Or if you like, we and once again, I do not I ain't gonna say I endorse it, but or not endorse it. But if you're out here, you're on a certain website doing certain things, making money. And when your kids see that, OnlyFans. If one of your kids see these things out here doing it, I'm like, that's Miss So-and-so. Do you think, man, she doing it? Could I do it too? And if you tell them, well, you shouldn't do it, and I don't know how you feel about it, but if you like, man, you just influence somebody, even though other people are doing it, but if they see somebody they know personally.
But again, I still stand on. So hear me out. When I feel that back then, a lot of artists stood on their platforms, though, outside of what we heard musically. All I'm saying is that back then, people used their platform and they did way better things than now. Now, these people get a platform and don't do anything with it.
I will say this. A lot of these people with platforms can't do anything with their platform because they don't own it.
Okay, well,
he has a point. What's that song? Hey, little mama, why you dance so? See, look.
Hey, little mama, why you just so funky? Look, hey, listen. Yeah. Back then, I just remember I didn't feel like the need to. It was not as much of a draw as I feel like it is now on these kids.
Because we old now. You don't remember? We old now. We at that point that we look at these. All we had was to flip the cable box on the B channel.
Like, we didn't have it at our fingertips at all times.
Man, my what age did y'all watch House Party or House Party 2?
Ooh, I was young.
Ooh.
It sounded like I was young too. My grandma beat my ass with a broomstick when she saw me watching House Party 2 on VHS, and she went and hid that damn tape. What y'all doing watching this shit? Beat my ass for that shit.
Really?
My parents, they doing all type of. I was like 6, 7 years old watching House Party. They in there hunching and fucking and shit. We should have been watching that shit. And like a lot of people our age is hypersexualized. We came up in an age where porn became popular. That's a culture that we don't talk about in the future thing. And you know what? Somebody saying the same shit about us 20 years before now. People talking about the same thing Dawn is saying. We didn't have it like that. We didn't have to deal with all that people dealing with. And
you're right.
On the port, we're doing the same thing. It's culture. Things will continue to change no matter what.
Scary. See why I don't want no kids? That shit's scary. As a teacher, I'm like, these are like my little babies. So first of all, I teach at my girls' school, Fame. So, and I teach middle school. So these are like my babies.
Oh, wow. Oh, man, that's an age. Yeah.
I love them like they're my babies. Like, y'all don't even know. Like, they got my cell phone.
They first start liking boys and
girls.
Girls.
You see, Fame? Yeah. You see what you did, Fame?
Say, oh, yeah, my bad.
You comparing it to how we were growing up. You comparing to how we were growing up. And trust me, we act
my bad. They start liking boys or girls.
All that. But so these are my babies. So for me, it's like scary. So yeah, you're right. I mean, I can remember my grandmother just being like, what are they saying? Like all this hooping and howling on this song and da-da-da-da-da. And now when I hear Fantasia, I'm just like, girl, why you gotta yell, Fantasia? Calm down, girl.
And once again, you're not wrong in your feelings, okay? And that's the thing. You're not wrong in your feelings. But none of us are to an extent, but just understand shit is going to change. And as much you try to hold on to it, because once again, I remember growing up when I see girls hollering at other girls and shit, and that shit was quiet. Then when I heard it on the first song, I'm like, oh, we singing about that shit. Oh, yeah. It happens before it makes it to the music, then it makes it to the video. Right. It's people going to start expressing how they feel. Luther, we talk about Frank Ocean all the fucking time. People was mad at Frank. And you know what? If you go back to Luther,
people forgot Luther was singing to a man too.
Because I'm a lyrical person.
To a man, yeah.
He was singing like deep, and I love Luther Vandross, but man, it's like that house is not a home. When the fuck does he say she, her, anything that has to do with a feminine person? That motherfucker was like,
I never says that. Say yep. I even want to say here and now. He never says. He never says a descriptive she, her. You got to check it out.
Yeah, I'm telling you. That's what you said it right there. When you
but Frank Ocean wasn't the first one to do it. You know, like
he was the first came out completely out. Like what Johnny Gill was back. What Johnny Gill did he come out? He didn't come out with the music, But like with,
I don't think Johnny Gill ever came out with the music.
And the thing about with Frank Ocean, I don't think, because, I ain't gonna lie, when I was about this much upset because I remember that song verbatim, nigga. I'm talking about. So I like this shit. So,
yeah, man.
And I was like, I got over it. That's still my shit. I was like, because I went back and listened. I'm like, yep, he didn't say nothing about no pussy.
But you know what? It reminds me. When Fame first started, he said how just throughout time, we put more on the artist, right? And then you mentioned something and it made it tie together for me. You said how we put them on a pedestal, but what did they do to get there? I think that's part of the problem in the culture is sometimes people don't realize these people are doing something that feeds their soul. This is their art. This is their craft. So they didn't ask you to make them some moral stature to hold your life and hold what I should be now raising your kids and I have responsibility of what your kids do. They didn't ask for that. They make good songs to make you feel as an adult who their target audience is. That's why they put the little E on there for explicit, right? Like their target audience is to make you feel good and feel a certain way. That's what they do with their music, right? So
that's what it should. They
didn't ask for.
That's what we hope, right?
Yeah. So, because like on the same thing, because it's balancing both. Because once again, Dawn, when you speak how it should be most of the time. Some of these people do it just for money. Like going back to 6ix9ine, he don't give a damn about you. He don't give a damn. He care about making money. Okay,
that's it.
What's Waka Flocka said it best. Everybody knew when Waka Flocka came out, that boy was trash. He had some hype music, but not until this year he said, that was some straight boo-boo I was talking about. You believe that was lyrics and bars, you are tripping, but it made money. And how I'm going to stop, let me stop my money from being made. Right. And when I'm coming back a little bit what you said, like what artists are doing anything now in society. We got Jay-Z and Beyonce. We have Jay-Z, Beyonce. We have John Legend. We have Common. We have Mos Def. He goes by something else now. I'm thinking this artist, Bun B. Bun B, my favorite artist. Thank you, Professor Bun. Thank you for recognizing that fame. He's once again a professor at Rice. He's speaking at speeches. Trade the truth. Okay, we have all these artists.
Yassine Bey is what Mos Def.
Yassine Bey, thank you. We have all these artists that's really trying to make we can't say all of them are trash or all of them not doing nothing.
No, absolutely.
But quite a few of them ain't shit. And you can usually see the ones, they ain't shit. Even Megan Thee Stallion trying to make a difference. All the ones, and Nicki Minaj even probably try to do something, but she got her problems as well. I still don't know what happened with Tory Lanez and Megan right now. I'm just going to sit back and I'm like, hey, y'all work that out. I'm going to pray for y'all.
Right.
And keep him shaking. But even back then, James Brown, he was big on the civil rights movement until it was almost done, and he completely flipped the switch and voted for Reagan and endorsed Reagan and shit. James Brown damn near pulled a Kanye West. If people go back and look at the records of it, it's been numerous artists throughout history that has been in politics or done things that's been frowned upon, and there's been numerous artists that not only they live their damn music. Bobby Womack. Yeah. Can we talk about Bobby?
I love Bobby Womack.
I love Bobby Womack too, but Bobby Womack. Do y'all watch Unsung?
I haven't watched that in years, man. I remember, but I'm familiar with the show.
When it was new, I used to watch it. When they
Unsung's still good though.
Does it still come on Century?
It comes on the other one. They're owned by the same one. Do BT on Century or it's owned by TV One? It comes on TV One.
Okay, yeah.
On TV One. And they talk about what these people was doing back then. Everybody did cocaine. Everybody still do cocaine. Okay. But I'm like, so you can't judge.
I don't know where y'all at, but this shit, LA and Hollywood, that's like the drug of it's like weed and cocaine. They like neck and neck.
Once again, I'm growing. When I start feeling like everybody do this shit,
everybody do it. I mean, it's real when you're standing on the corner across Hollywood and Highland, and you look over and somebody taking a bump out their pinky nail, and just keep it walking like it's public. It's easy.
See, I'm in Seattle. They be doing heroin right around the corners. That's the drug choice up here.
No joke. No.
But that's
Or popping pills. Popping pills just as bad as that shit. To be real. You know, all this shit they put in their body, but that's the new wave of new drugs. When all this shit come out,
that's the new wave. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out when weed and alcohol stop being enough, because alcohol be too much by itself. Weed should be enough for anybody.
That goes back to that discussion I was having. People get too comfortable. It's like I know some people they feel like they untouchable. That you get comfortable. That's why I say I'm still uncomfortable with weed. You know, I'm gonna say uncomfortable. I get out of there. But when some people, they feel like they can function so well with it, I need something else to get me out of my zone or some shit. Cause this ain't because if you smoking weed every damn day, and some fucked up shit happen and it ruined your day even worse. Have you ever had your day been made worse after smoking weed?
Never.
Or being high?
Never.
Well, somebody probably, I'm guaranteed somebody have.
Never.
Say, weed don't cut no more. So let me try this new thing. And and once again, we gonna be discussing that more in the future.
I could have a horrible day, and I promise you, weed has always been enough. Even if it might have to be edible, but that's gonna be enough, bro. Like, I don't need nothing else that I can't.
I've been saying this. For years. Weed and music will literally take me out of
music is medicine.
Any negative feeling that I have. Like, them two combined is a recipe for positivity.
See, but anything.
Let's go back to the artists, because we make the comment that some of these artists don't live, like they separate their music from their lifestyle. Bobby Womack did not do that shit. I tell you that right now. Like Womack talked about some of and that's why I think his music was so great and timeless, because he talked about some real shit. He talked about some love, and if you think you're lonely now, because he was probably, I guarantee he talking about somebody song. Direct.
Sorry, I just had to go ahead and say that. That's a creepy song. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight, girl. What does that mean? It sounds like a threat. If you think you're lonely now, wait until tonight.
Because it was a threat. You about to be by your motherfucking self. See how you gonna be feeling. See how your ass gonna be feeling. He just walked. I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm gone.
And you'll never find another man that'll treat you right.
You don't think
right here.
I work all this. You want me to work, then you want me to spend time, then you want the money, then you feel lonely. Look at that right there.
See that right there?
Put the lyrics up.
All right.
Put the lyrics up.
He's trying to just say, but these lyrics meant something.
I promise you, he wrote that shit himself. Nobody wrote that shit from him. He wrote that shit himself, and he meant that shit.
Artists don't write about shit they mean. They be writing shit that just gonna make it get lit.
Will Smith about to drop one of the best albums you ever heard in his life. You probably gonna hear him curse for the first time on this next album.
His verses, man. I'm telling you. He gonna curse in every verse. It's gonna be
have a feature from Eminem.
It's gonna be ignorant. It's gonna be ignorant, bro. Will Smith drop an album right now. He's going double platinum.
Heat.
Do y'all for instance?
Especially if he drop an album and the explicit content label is on there, going to the top just from people streaming it alone.
No, so did August Alsina do this as a stunt then? Like,
he did.
Yeah, he did. People gotta be. This is a numbers. If my name is circulating right now and the word entanglement is part of that circulation, you goddamn right I'm about to drop a song called Entanglement. I may not even be talking about shit being tangled up or a relationship or nothing, but I'm dropping a song called Entanglement. Why? Because it's going to get clicked on. And in the streaming age, it's about the clicks. Well, people got to understand it's a business move.
Yeah.
You see how fast he did it. You got that. I'm gonna throw a big name like Ross on it. Have him, and shout out to Ross. He stayed on topic.
I haven't heard it yet. I'm looking forward to it.
Ross normally 4 bars in, he rapping about some shit, some expensive shit you can't afford, or some shit he did already. So he did his thing. It was a good record. They're gonna make their money back off of that easily because so many people have clicked on it alone.
Yeah, so I mean, he apparently shared a clip of it. Will Smith is he, and he has 47.1 million followers. So just that in itself, He's absolutely smart. Let's watch it. I haven't seen it, so.
Oh, what's this? Did he drop something?
What's that? No, man, get out of here. We got people for this. Guys, I'm a team player. I'm part of the team. It's awesome. No, please no. We hired people for this.
Is that a Mac?
Yeah.
I can help. Just toss it. Okay.
I think that his point is just like, I don't know why August Alsina would have just, I just don't understand. I haven't even touched on that or said anything about it because it just didn't make any sense.
That's a whole nother episode. We start talking about that, it's going to go completely left field.
But it was an artist who did something to promote his artistry. So
you think he opened his mouth to promote music? You think the entire reason he did something?
I don't know.
You know the game. You out here sleeping with a married woman. You better shut the hell up.
If you ask me, you saying is that I don't even have to say nothing right now, Mac. Continue speaking.
Oh, I don't want to.
That's what I asked. That was my initial question before I went to search for it. Was, do y'all think that he did that to promote his new album that was coming out? So yeah, he did it to promote his artist.
Because he said this shit already. This shit. If you're on Twitter, you know he said this shit a year or two ago. This is. Did y'all just find out about this with August Alsina being with sleeping with what's the girl name? Jada
Nah, this rumor been around for a while.
This shit been around for a year or two, okay?
Easily.
The problem where a lot of men and a lot of people get confused is when she actually said the shit was true. Leave that shit a motherfucking rumor. Because motherfuckers can assume all they fucking want to assume. But when you want to drop the shit out and you're like, yeah, it's fucking happened, and like, God damn. And that's what I said. And people can say what they want to say. Will hurt. And people talking about Will hurt. He said he hurt.
But the thing is,
I'd be hurt.
I feel like,
and they talking about, well, men need to be a man. Y'all talk about y'all tell us to protect our emotions, express ourselves.
Why would he?
That's why we don't.
They thought that they were split up. He even said it at the little interview. Like he had kicked her to the curb. They thought they were splitting up.
Yeah. Because he said he was done with her.
That's what he said.
I don't know, but it ain't none of my business, you know.
It's your right. It's none of our business.
It's old, you know. It's old. You know.
Because usually I don't give a fuck. But
So about the art and the artist. So I wasn't able to separate, and I haven't supported Rick Ross the same because I lived in Houston one year when he was supposed to come for a concert. I bought tickets to that concert. That nigga never showed up. Ever since I ain't been a supporter the same. I wasn't able to separate what you was going through, my nigga.
This ain't around the time he was having seizures, is it? He had no seizure because I remember a couple of times he was supposed to come to the H. He was sick.
She don't care.
It's not that I don't care. I never heard that being the story.
Look at her.
Okay.
I just never heard that being the story. I heard that he was at the hotel and.
Okay. Okay,
I never heard that, but that was years ago. I think I was in college when shit happened.
Yeah, this is
let me catch this beat.
8, 9 type.
Have y'all listened to this song?
I haven't listened yet because I don't want to support August Alsina, but go ahead.
Special moment in history. Hold up. Why did Rick Ross have to start the song and say that?
Because they're getting a check off of this. That's why. These are entertainers.
Yo, that's a jab. If I just have to dissect this song from beginning to end, I'm gonna start out by saying
what was said.
Okay, you got to listen to the whole thing first before you dice. Take it in first, and then run it. What was said?
I missed it.
Yeah, he missed it. You got to let the whole thing run.
Okay, let me let the whole thing run. Here we go.
That boy is throwing slugs, man.
I've heard enough of this.
Yeah, that's how I felt, man. He's doing everything I thought he would do, being a bitch ass nigga.
He's doing what an entertainer does, especially one that's been on for a while.
3 million views in this.
That's what I said when I looked at the amount. He basically have 4 million views, and he only have 2. When he get 2.3 million subscribers.
So let's see. So he's got 2.34 million,
and she confirmed.
So he got all. So he has all of these subscribers. 3.6 million. So let me tell you this. Off of YouTube alone, for every million stream or every million views you get on this from YouTube alone, there's other ways you monetize this, and you get your publishing and you get your distribution from this as well. From YouTube alone, he's made at least $18,000 just off of this video alone. I'm sorry, 18 million. $18,000 off of this video alone. For every million views, it's about 6,000.
He's definitely showing his age, cause
I don't know. And make sure to subscribe to Everything Culture as well as
right
on YouTube, as well as Concrete and Blossoms on YouTube. Holla at us.
Bam, going up.
Let me make sure I'm subscribed. Shit.
Yeah, go subscribe.
Did it say you would subscribe to us? Did it say you would subscribe to us?
Oh, for sure. You first of all, see, you missed that part. Whenever we got there, that's the first thing we got to look at.
See, I got to start subscribing from all my.
Of course.
Look at that real.
And my bell is on. You see that bell is not marked black. That means I get alerted whenever you post something.
Commercial break pause with Concrete and Blossom Podcast. What up, everyone? It's DawnTheDoll, creator and host of Concrete and Blossom Podcast. And if you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's everything you need in one place. It's free. You record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will then distribute it for you on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. Make money with no minimum listenership required. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And don't forget to subscribe to Concrete and Blossom Podcast on all listening platforms.
He smile. You making me blush. Stop that now.
Big love.
Make sure y'all follow MacFame on all platforms. What are you on?
Same on everything. It's MacFame on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. I don't have a TikTok, but I got a Thriller, MacFame.
Thriller. What is Thriller?
Thriller is an app where it makes you record a bunch of different video clips, and then it puts together like a music video for you.
Yeah, a lot of girls be shaking their ass on that.
Yeah, man. It's
like a pre-fan OnlyFans page if you're trying to get there.
No, I wouldn't even say that. I'm not going to associate it with like. It was real popular before TikTok took over.
Yeah, it was. TikTok is like Thriller and Vine put together.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
so music and an artist. So I definitely think that we place more responsibility on them than what they necessarily ask for. I don't think it's a fair assessment of the listeners, of the fans, for us to hold them to part of our village, so to speak, in that capacity, as much as we would like them to be. But yeah, I definitely think we put them on a pedestal that they don't necessarily ask to be on in the first place.
Definitely. I agree. I feel like until an artist or entertainer, anybody for that matter, until somebody steps out and shows you that they want to be considered part of the community, that's like part of the fabric of that, what makes that community, by actively being out there and putting the people of that community in positions to excel and build things for their generations. Until somebody's, one of these people that they're placing on these pedestals as celebrities and public figures and artists and influencers and X, Y, and Z, they need to make sure, does this person really care about my community? Just because they look like me does not mean that they're part of my community.
Because you know why? All skin
folk ain't kinfolk.
You better believe that.
Like, just because they look like me does not mean that we are treated the same, which is it's a sad case. Like, and the funny thing is, I've seen guys that look like me, same skin tone, look like, they look like what America would deem as a threat, but they hang out with Caucasians and they're part of that world. So although they're not afforded the same privilege as them, because they are close to that circle, because they are, considered one of the tight knits of that, they get a taste of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like us.
I never met any people who weren't the music that they liked wasn't some type of representation of them. It's difficult to find a person that the music that they choose is not somewhat of a representation of them. I won't say completely, but somewhat a representation of them.
Well, that's interesting.
Maybe not their values. I don't know about that one. Cause some of this stuff, I like to call some of this music mindless music. I know you just got to separate them. You know, like I still I ride around with my music on shuffle sometimes on Apple Music, and Kanye came on, and it was something from College Dropout. And I remember thinking, man, he was killing it back then. And I let the whole thing, and it came to the point where, I took it off at random and went straight to College Dropout and was, jamming that, for, a good 5-6 songs. And I remember thinking, Kanye was dope. I never had an idea that he was this weird guy, that he had these thoughts in his mind. And now he opens his mouth a lot. I wish he would just shut the hell up.
His own die, brother.
Yeah, exactly, and that would make anybody a little unstable. Just to be honest, I couldn't even imagine my state of mind.
Well, if
something happened to my mom like that.
It shows your identity and truth when you experience things in your life. My thing is, my mother passed when I was very young, but it kind of split my brother up, but it made me stronger. You know what I mean? It was like,
right.
I couldn't rely on people as much, and I understood at an early age. So Kanye kind of uses that as I hate to say an excuse. Oh, he doesn't use an excuse. We recognize that you empty.
But no, seriously though, my thing is that I think adults should do a better job. And I say this very humbly, because I do not have children, but I think from an educator's perspective, you have to be careful of what you listen to and how often you listen to it, especially around your younger ones that they're not in a position to be making life decisions. So those type of things and that type of energy drives them towards certain behaviors that are not appropriate at that certain time. So I think that as adults, we have to do better with our own children. It's not my fault that if I'm rolling down the street and I'm banging my stuff loud as an adult, and then my windows might be cracked, right? But if you riding in the car with your 6-year-old and your 6-year-old know all the words, the explicit words and everything to some songs.
Pop your pussy like this.
Yeah, that's a little.
Don't miss.
To me, that
came up during that. It came up close to our time too. When the parental advisory come in effect?
I don't know. Let's Google it.
It came in the early 90s.
Okay.
I can't give you specific, but you can go ahead. We can go ahead and Google it. And it came. You know who started? Uncle Luke. Okay, Uncle Luke came out. It wasn't NWA. It was Uncle Luke that had to go to court when he had 2 Live Crew. Now they took a lot of stuff on radio, and it was okay in the places that we live. But I agree with it's once again times are changing. If you go back in the 80s, they weren't even talking about this type of stuff on music in total. Same thing with Rudy Ray Moore. A lot of people weren't allowing that either. It was that Chitlin circuit type of underground mixtape type of information. But when they made it to the public light and more started during us. We grew up. Our generation could be to blame for that. And people our age is the one making the music now. Shout out to MacFame. So it's it's really we are the future. We were the children at the time, and it's just going to gradually turn for the better, turn for the worse. But it's really high, and it's you have good and bad no matter what. That's what I'm always saying. But do I agree with the internet? Would I agree with the internet? They are exposed at this on a whole different level. Yes. Yeah. My thing is be careful of your play things, your play friends, and your playground. And think about it. She hang around that wrong. She hang around Kanye people. Hang around them folks. Look how Kanye looking. Kanye got a little bit of support. You ain't there yet, Megan. Stay the fuck around them hoes, man. But it's one of them things.
Yeah,
and people, I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about they feel, they are upset, they're sad. People pray for her. She worried. She's technically an orphan. She ain't got nobody there for her. She out here just trying to survive on her own. I'm like, she ain't no child. She a grown ass woman. She doing all this other grown ass shit. It was a lot of celebrities out here back in the day. Phyllis Hyman is a perfect example. She was Sister Soul, got all this shit, but she started playing with it nose candy and shit, and shit got real. You got to be careful of this shit you fuck with. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's one of those situations. It goes back, like when we talking about the artist, man, there's an artist that I loved. I listened to him, and he comes with some depressive shit. And I think I've said it on either our podcast, I think I may have said it on here, but he was big on like, fuck women, fuck this, fuck these kids, and like you can play a song, but when he actually had a case against his children, he was really saying that shit. He meant every fucking thing he was saying. He really meant that shit in his songs.
Right.
So it's like you can't. Some people say some shit positive, some people say some things that are negative, but not all these artists. Some of these artists mean what they say, and you got to be careful. And so I said Bobby Womack, but it still go to this day right now. What's the old dude that supposedly killed his best friend and had a song talking about killing his best friend? YM Melly or something like that? The dude from Florida.
No.
YM No Melly.
Yeah. Type in YM Melly in YouTube, you're going to see. He read this lyric. What's that? Lyrical. I think that's what you call it. That's on Spotify and stuff.
Yeah. He
read it like, they had a scene. And if you just Google his name, this motherfucker's facing a double homicide right now. He been facing this double murder charge for like 2 years now. Well, year or two. And this motherfucker said, and it was one of his considered friends.
2 friends.
Right.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I apologize. 2 friends, yes.
2 friends. Here we go. YNW Melly is charged with the murder of 2 friends. Wow. I mean, 2 counts of first-degree murder. And, man, I swear, I don't know why it's like, this is what I mean. I can almost promise you this young man felt like the music he listened to helped him make who he is today. Like, that's part of his story.
Yeah, and now that proves your point. That's the point you were talking about. He proves he proves both our points. Because motherfuckers really did this shit.
Both of our points.
And motherfuckers probably gonna be out here doing this shit because pray for say what gotta pray for these children.
We definitely do.
Hey, and one lyric that I always love from Kendrick Lamar is "Ain't nobody praying for me." Both my grandmas, all my grandmas dead. I was like bars. It's just we don't talk. We've been talking about rap, and we've been talking about more Black people. Let's talk about some other artists. What's his name? Queen, Freddie Mercury. Okay, do y'all know who these people are? Queen, Freddie Mercury.
I know who Queen is.
Okay, y'all know who Queen is. The songs, they came out of a movie, and they have a certain Bohemian Rhapsody. That's the name of the movie, but it's a song called Bohemian Rhapsody. Right. If you listen to the lyrics, he's talking about murdering a motherfucker. Mama, I just murdered a man, killed him dead, right? Shot him. What is that? Same thing with Shakespeare, an artist. He talk about death and murder and killing and all these things, all in his plays and shit. But nobody want to pull his shit off. To what I could see, I learned about Shakespeare when I was in school. And I'm like middle school or so. But all those things are fine, but we're talking about certain raps, and black people being artists, that's going to become an issue. So that's what I'm looking at. If we talking about now we're a little bit more, everybody's vulgar because you have Marilyn Manson, you got other people talking about these things, but Eminem, and once again, he goes into it, but when it comes down to Black people, we try to pull it away. And trust me, they try to put Eminem shit away too, but he associated with Black people. But what comes first? Is it the behavior or is it the music? I highly believe it's the behavior, then the music. Now, access to that behavior is the other thing. Dawn having some trouble over there. But it comes about.
Man, I hate to be the one, but I gotta wrap up soon, man.
No, you're okay. We kind of sort of been done. Me and Drake will stay on this bitch on.
Yeah. If I didn't have nothing to do tonight, I would sit here and talk this all
No,
night.
you are totally good. I thank you for joining me. Do you have any last words that you may want to wrap up?
everybody go get the album. It's called I Am. It's probably one of my favorite projects to date. It's got some good stuff on there. This is the first time I've done minimal features. The majority of the body of work is me. I produced, wrote, and mixed the intro track, number one. It's the first time I've ever put my own production on my own album, so it's huge for me. Just go out. So the new single, Right Back, featuring my man Notch, is out now on all streaming platforms: iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon, Tidal, Pandora, all that good stuff is everywhere. Man, I appreciate you guys for having me. This has been beautiful. I've enjoyed the hell out of this.
So listen, listeners, thank you for tuning in to Concrete and Blossom Podcast, Episode 10, The Art versus the Artist. Be sure to leave feedback and comments on all platforms. Check out the description for links to all sites associated with today's host. Subscribe, follow, and like us on all social media and listening platforms at Concrete and Blossom Podcast.
DawnTheDoll delivers.